Hello and welcome back to Retro Wrestling Reviews, playing WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. I am coming off the Backlash pay-per-view, unlocking Stone Cold Steve Austin. It didn't give me the option to play, to change characters like I thought it might after, so I'm still Eddie Guerrero. I love me some Eddie Guerrero, so that's fine. But it does mean that starting from next week's episode, I am probably going to start peppering in some non-season mode matches just so it's not all Eddie Guerrero. We'll get like a week of season and then a week of and then I'll do like a random like Hell in a Cell match or something just to show off more of the game. I think that'll work well because as we now know, having just come off Backlash, the format seems to be a Raw, a SmackDown, a Raw, a SmackDown, and then the pay-per-view, um, which works great for me. I made the decision not to include every cutscene in this video. Um, the only one you've seen, the only one you've missed so far was Triple H arriving at the arena, and now The Rock talking. So it seems like The Rock versus Triple H is still like the main feud. Um, Going off what I now know about Backlash, where it just kind of replayed the famous The Rock Triple H feud with the return of Austin from Backlash. The next pay per view would be Judgment Day, and that would feature the Iron Man match between those two with Shawn Michaels as a special referee. So, potentially, the game's about to unlock Shawn Michaels for me. I guess we'll find out at the next pay per view, but I think that's maybe where it's going. All right, I'm up. A fatal four-way. My Intercontinental title's not on the line in this one, which I think is probably for the best, given that, as you recall from SmackDown, the only match I wasn't able to finish was a fatal four-way because it was just impossible to get anyone out of the ring long enough to pick up the win. I've got no idea. Maybe I can find out. Do knockouts count? Yeah, knockouts are on. So I think my key to victory here is going to be hitting my finisher first and trying to win by knockout. I think that's my strategy, my winning strategy here. All right, wish me luck, guys. I don't know whether I should just like pick one person and try and focus on them and hope that the CPU does the same, but it does kind of feel like they're all very focused on me at the moment. This is a very like cruiserweight, light heavyweight match. Like Matt Hardy and Christian were both cruiserweight and or light heavyweight champion, and Grandmaster Sexy, his first kind of championship run was challenging for the light heavyweight title, and Eddie Guerrero he was always a heavyweight in the WWF, but he was a prolific cruiserweight wrestler in WCW. I use the word prolific a lot in this series. I've noticed. I think because this era of game, like pretty much every character in this game is either like really well known and remembered for like having a sort of wacky Attitude Era gimmick. You know, like non wrestling fans probably still remember The Godfather and Val Venus and those outlandish characters. Or they are legitimate legends like Eddie Guerrero and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and whoever else. So I think everyone in this roster is kind of like a big deal in their own way. I'm just going to put Matt Hardy through the announce table real quick. Boom, there we go. And he just no sells it and bumps to his feet. I'll put him through another one and another rapid fire announce table breaks, and he just gets back to his feet like nothing happened. Like no, why would he sell? Why would he stay down? He's busy. He's got things to do. So I'd love to. Oh man, I was about to say I'd love Christian and Grandmaster Sexy to just stay on the outside of the ring, but Christian has immediately ruined my plan because I'm hammering on Matt with the idea being that I'm going to hit a frog splash on Matt and knock him out. But I do worry that these other two opponents are going to be too in the way for that to happen. Nice brainbuster. I like the brainbuster as a move, but I've talked before about the pile driver, how unsafe the pile driver is. Was that in this series? I think that might have been an attitude actually. I was talking about that, but dangerous moves in wrestling, dropping people on their heads. Generally speaking, we shouldn't be letting kids see moves that they can easily emulate on the playground. But if they do it, they'll kill someone. Um, that's my take anyway. Bit nanny state maybe, but there it is. Okay, let's try this and bang, and it worked. It worked. Perfect. I can't believe how well that worked. Oh man, Matt Hardy's upset. Thing is, that happened to me before. I beat X-Pac and Road Dogg in a tag team match, and then X-Pac was all mad at me, wanted a rematch. But then I've never seen X-Pac again since. So I guess the moral of the story is, if I beat you, you're done. Get out of here. Get out of here, Matt. I can't believe this match isn't the main event of the show. Like, that's like the third to last match. The main event better be something incredible. China. I was planning on just cutting this out, but my girl China wins again. I feel like we're on track for me and her to get a tag team title match. And the main event is Road Dogg versus Rikishi. I did comment on this minutes ago about the fact that triple threat, Undertaker, Rock, and Triple H was third from last, and Road Dogg versus Rikishi is the main event of this episode of Raw, which is bizarre. I assume there's a bigger storyline going on there that I don't know about. And now SmackDown the same week. What's going to be happening here? Am I going to get a title defense? Yes, I do, against Val Venus again. That's okay. And I'm getting cutscenes. Damn right I am. All right, next up, my title defense against a man I've already beaten, so I'm not sweating it too much. I'd prefer to face someone fresh, but you know, we're building a heated rivalry, I guess, over my Intercontinental title, and it means I get a chance to include the championship entrance this time. I'll try and remember. Well, I will remember. I'm talking about it right now, and it's about to happen. There is Intercontinental Champion Eddie Guerrero. Every champion has the same default entrance where they just stand there with the belt on their shoulder and then start walking. There's no individuality there, but it is a huge step up from SmackDown 1, I'm sure you'll agree. All right, me and Val one more time. I beat him in like less than a minute and a half last time. I think it was like 1 minute 22. So I don't know if I want to try and beat that or if I want to take my time and show off some more moves this time. Man, that running schoolboy, I keep forgetting not to do that, but that's okay. Can you imagine if that had been a 3 count? Not unfathomable. This was Val Venus's like rebrand to try and make it as a main eventer. Like he changed his ring gear, he cut his hair, he got his like dance music theme song. He had Trish Stratus as his manager. He tried to do the whole serious rebrand thing, and it didn't really work because it's Val Venus and no one cares. So he joined the Right to Censor, and did even less as a member of the Right to Censor, and then yeah, that was more or less the end of his WWF career, really, because he disappeared for a while and then he returned again as just classic Val Venus, but he was even lower on the card than he had been previously, and did nothing of any consequence for about 2 years, and then no, maybe not quite as long as 2 years, and then he moved to Raw as Chief Morley, like his real name Sean Morley, and he was like Eric Bischoff's henchman, and he was like a tag team champion with Lance Storm, and like it would be an understatement to say that no one cared, because like that was, by then we were into 2003, which is kind of the doldrums of the WWF anyway, but like Val Venus's makeshift tag team with his real name was never going to set the world on fire. So I just buried him verbally and talked about how rubbish he was, while absolutely destroying him a second time as Latino Heat. That is a thorough burial. I think you'll all agree. All right, and just finishing out this show, the main event, another battle royal: Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Kane. I feel like I've not seen much of Kurt Angle and Kane on these shows. It seems like maybe they're starting to insert some new people, because obviously they're in the game and always have been. But I feel like that's the first time I've seen either of them.